Okay, this short video for Chapter 14, Media Freedom, Regulation, and Ethics, is on copyright. This is one of our other issues. So we've talked about those things that are exceptions to the First Amendment, and now we're going to talk about some other issues related to freedom, regulation, and ethics. So copyright is designed for the purpose of protecting the financial interests of people who are creative, creating art, science, other things. And the idea behind it is to encourage that type of creativity. So at the bottom line, at the bottom of this is the desire to keep the creative flow of things going while giving incentive, financial incentive to do so. Copyright law has been rewritten a couple of times to expand the length of copyright protection that you as a creator have over your work. And at this point in time, it's your entire life. So if you create a work of art or a movie or a video or whatever, a song, you have copyright protection for your entire life, plus 70 years after you're dead. Okay, so the people who have your estate, it goes on for 70 years. Once copyright expires, then your work of art, your book, your video, whatever, goes into the public domain. And that's why you can see online access to things like Shakespeare, works of Shakespeare, or other older novels, because the copyright has expired and it's now available for all of us to use, work with, recreate, and play around with. So obviously, though, there are some exceptions to this copyright law. And actually, before I get to the exceptions, I do want to say one other thing, which is that everything that you do, whether or not you put a little C by it, you have copyright over it. So if you write an email, you have copyright over it. If you write a song, you have copyright. All right, so what are the exceptions? The exceptions are all bundled under something called fair use. The first is limited non-commercial use. So if you're not trying to make money off of the work, you can use a little bit of the work for and incorporate it into something else, as long as you're not making money off of that. Use of limited portion of the work. So you can keep seeing the word limited. So if you have a small portion of the work, you can also use that. That's even, I believe, in commercial things, if you're using just a tiny bit of it, of the larger whole, so maybe a sentence out of a work, if you were writing a novel and you wanted to quote something else. Use that does not decrease commercial value. So there are other things about that we'll talk about later. And use in the public interest. So an example of this might be your consumers' reports, using a video of something that they're trying to highlight or kind of expose or whatever in their reporting. How some of this has been dealt with in this digital era, where we take things from all different sources, mash it up, use things, recreate it, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's gotten really complicated as we have all these digital resources, is Creative Commons. And some of you probably already know about it, but what it's an organization that's nonprofit that came up with these licenses where you can say, okay, look, I've made this video, I've taken this photo and published it on Flickr. Feel free to use it. Feel free to make something else out of it. But you do have to attribute it in this way. You have to use my name and call it this or whatever. And Creative Commons has it has several levels of what you as a creator want people who borrow your work to do, how they attribute it. Maybe you want your name used every time. Maybe you don't want it altered in any way, the creative work. You can kind of set that up. We are going to also take a look at, you can't see this. I'm wondering if, unfortunately, I don't think you can see the link that I have here. Let me see. All right, let's see if you can see that. This link here is to a video that we're going to view in class, and we're going to take a look at some examples that they post. So for example, and you can be thinking about this, what if you're at a restaurant or an event and you record things, but you're not intentionally recording the background music. You're filming, your friends or whatever, and you want to post it on YouTube. The music is there. if you post your video, are you breaking copyright if there's music in the background? That's a question to think about. What about a film that's a movie that's filmed in your city a few years ago, and you want to film some of the locations to show people where each scene was filmed? You want to use your footage and small clips of the movie side by side. Is that fair use? Can you do that? Another situation would be, if you do a parody video, and there's so many of these on YouTube, does it fall under fair use when the visuals are almost entirely from a non-original source, like a cartoon or video gameplay, but is completely rewritten and revoiced in a humorous manner? We'll have to check out some of that. What if you dub over an episode of a cartoon, say The Simpsons, with your own voices and change the dialogue? Is it parody, and are you legally okay and not breaking copyright? And finally, if you're uploading YouTube videos of captured video and commentary of video games, you're showing those video games that you didn't create, but you're playing them, are you breaking copyright? So we'll talk about some of these issues, but give some thought, because these are all situations that you've probably gone through yourself. Okay, we'll talk more in class.